Greetings, Capitol Police families. From my heart to yours, let's talk about planning for being organized today, which in neuroscience speak is called executive function. Executive function is the ability to start a task, stay on task, finish a task. Executive functioning is the ability to plan ahead and make good decisions. Really, really important skill. But before we begin, I just would like to take a moment to say the way I use language. I'm going to be using the word parent in this series. Please understand that when I use that, I'm not talking specifically about biological parents. I'm talking about any caring adult who finds himself right now supporting, caring for, and helping to grow younger people, whether they're toddlers, whether they're middle school students, or whether they're just graduated college. Because yes, when we're talking about executive function, that's located right here, your prefrontals, and it takes a while to mature. It is not fully developed in women till 21 and in men till 27. So this is one of those ongoing skills as we evolve as human beings. And the better our executive function, the more successful we can be. In fact, executive function is a bigger predictor of success later on in life than even IQ. Research real clear. Also, when we talk about executive function and the tools we're going to be using today to help develop that skill, right? And what you'll see when we're doing this is these are skills that human beings need to be able to live independently. And if we never give our kids the opportunity to be independent and to do this kind of planning, we're taking away their opportunity to grow into functional adults. So yes, parents, I know sometimes, especially under all the stress, it's just easier to do it for our kids. But then again, we're taking away their opportunities. So this is what we're doing today are several different tools. Again, I always give you a variety so you can do what's best for your family, but several different tools that the goal of them is all the same. How do we develop executive function? Maybe in ourselves, definitely in our kids and our family. And why, not only is it a predictor of success, but we know stress, have you been under any lately? Can really wreak havoc on one's ability to stay organized. So all these tools are all about organizing. So let's go. As if you've watched any of the other sessions, or if this is your first, you can watch or you can just listen. You can play this in the car while you're driving. And then afterward, everything I present, under this video in the description box, there is a link that will bring you to a text set, which is a curated list of resources that support everything that I talk about in this video. So when you say, oh, I think that would be perfect for child A, or I think that would be perfect for my partner, you can just go to that text set, click on the resource you want, and there it is for you to work your magic. All right, so planning for organization. Again, these are all tools for independent success. And yes, I'm not expecting your preschooler or your first grader to be totally independent. But yes, these are tools that when we start using these with our youngest kids, that's what we're doing. We're developing that muscle. We're flexing that most important muscle, their muscle of executive function, being able to start a task, stay on task, and finish a task. So executive function is all about time, right? An educational word for it is temporal orientation. But we just are going to call that having a concept of time. It's necessary to know how long is 5 minutes, how long is 10 minutes, about how long do I think this task is going to take, is necessary when I'm planning. How am I going to get things done today? How am I getting my homework done after school today? How am I getting my chores done? How am I getting my Saturday activities planned and done in the amount of time that I have, right? Um, and what the benefit that your kids may come to a realization with is when they actually plan what they're going to do and give themselves amount of time to do it, that it may actually free up more free time for them to do their video games, or they're playing outside, or they're talking on the phone, or making TikTok videos, or any of the other millions of things they'd rather do other than chores and homework. But if you have videographers in your family, they probably already know how to do film stripping, which is a very good organizer. We're not going to do that skill here, but it is a skill that it falls under this umbrella. And it's probably the way they're being successful at creating their content on their social media sites. So if they are film stripping, check, that's good for you, good for them with executive function. All right, so planning. We're going to begin with goal setting, because before we can plan where we're going to go, we have to know where we're going, right? And now here's the question. You can phone a friend if you want. Research, and this research is pretty old. I've been reporting this research for over 10 years. This is a medical research organization in Oregon and Planned Parenthood. This is their research. What is the number one prevention for teenage pregnancy? Give up? That's right. It's goal setting. It's girls who know what they want to do or what they want to be when they grow up. Right? It sounds so, we have a lot of fights about sex ed. Do we teach condom use? Do we teach abstinence? So the researchers looked at abstinence, looked at teaching kids how to use condoms, and they found that it's girls. Sorry, guys are off the hook. Maybe that'll change. But it's girls who know what they want to do, what they want to be when they grow up. That's how fundamental planning right here in our executive function. So when we talk about goal setting, right, in your text set, there is a document called Making the Grade. I have worded it in terms of academic success for your kids, especially as we head back to school after the summer. What kind of grades do they want to get? How are they going to get them? But know the fundamentals of this goal setting sheet that you'll see for any goal. If they want to save money towards something, if they want to achieve something on stage or on a field or on a court, right? Anything that we have goals for, personal, academic, financial, these questions can guide you there. And if you watch this session on chronic, staying focused under chronic stress, I talked all about strengths in there. When we do goal setting for grades, we start with our strengths, our students' strengths, our kids' strengths. Then we track progress towards that goal, right? We get more dopamine if you watch the Brains for Living session. And this is one way, as we have our kids set goals, personal, academic, financial, we're helping them develop their executive function. So what you'll notice in the goal setting sheet, Making the Grade, the goals are stated in the positive, all right? We don't move away from something, we move towards something. So goals are always about what I want, not what I don't want, what I want. They're concrete, they're measurable in a concrete way. So especially if you have young kids, what will I get when I achieve that goal is really, really abstract. So what you can ask your kids is, what will you see? What will you hear? What will you feel when you achieve that goal. That's mapping it right into their sensory awareness so they know what achieving this goal will look like, feel like, and sound like in their life. We always have to look at, is this goal within my control? There's no point going through a goal setting process if the goal is out of my control. All right. For instance, let's say I'm fully grown and I'm 5'5", and I'm telling you I'm your child, and I'm telling you I want to play in the WNBA or the NBA, depending on my gender. So you know, as a parent, you don't want to just kill all dreams, right? So what within that goal is within your control? So we may have a talk that, gee, that size, if you look at all the athletes in the WNBA, everyone is at least 5 inches, 6 inches taller than your height. So how about if we set a goal that you will play X amount of games with people, against people who are X amount taller than you, and see how you do, right? And if you do okay, then maybe we'll set another goal from there and work. But so we're never shutting down goals, saying they're impossible, but we're saying that goal is not within your control. What of that goal is within your control, and that's where we start. And then you don't have to be the one to tell your child, you know what, that's a really stupid goal, that's not going to work. They kind of discover the limitations on their own. Who knows, maybe they'll really surprise us. There's been some point guards in the WNBA and the NBA that aren't very tall, but have still been able to be successful. But again, the sheet in your tech set is all about helping your kids set their goals for their academic grades for the upcoming school year. Another tool that's in there that helps develop executive function is plan, do, and review. And that's, you make a plan, but then you reflect on, is my plan working? Because reflection is a key part of any learning process, whether it's academic learning or learning on my own or wherever you are as an adult in your life right now, right? Reflection allows us to gather information. Should I do more of this or less of this? Should I cut this out or really get it bigger? And as we don't know, again, we're still in fluid times, we're assuming that we'll be back in school in person in September, that you will be back at your jobs in person, maybe this week. So this is important for any kind of life that we're going to have, right? It can be, you can do this for virtual learning, you can do this for the activities that you or your children are doing after school. And it looks something like this. Let me get myself out of the way. And you see the first column is simply, what's my plan for the day? All right, so what's my plan for the day? I may just fill in one of these boxes. And then my plan for the day, how am I going to do that? What will I do first, second, third, fourth? And then how did I do? Did I work my plan? Were the steps that I planned out, were they integral enough to what I wanted to accomplish, or did they send me on a wild goose chase somewhere, right? So I look at the structure of the plan and did I work the plan? And if not, what can I do differently or better next time? So let me make this concrete. We'll do this since mostly everything else is academic. Let's make this one behavioral, right? Because there's cognitive skills and then there's behavioral skills. We all need our executive function. But, you know, we'll talk about this behaviorally. So maybe you have children who fight a lot, and maybe one of the kids just loves to not keep their hands to themselves, right? And they may slap or punch or tickle or just annoy physically the other kids in the family. So let's say that's me. My plan for the day, if I was going to fill this out, would be to keep my hands to myself. Very simple. Okay, now how am I going to do that? What steps will I take? When my brothers and sisters start annoying me and I'm starting to get that feeling, right? That I'm just going to have to yell, start lashing out physically. What will I do to prevent myself from doing that? Okay. And then parents, you need to be kind of um, really in touch with your children's patterns. Okay. So let's say it's me and you've noticed that my brothers and sisters can be annoying me. And maybe for 3 or 4 minutes, it rolls off my back. But when it comes to that fifth minute, I just go wild, right? So I've now sat down. Here's my plan for the day. I'm going to keep my hands to myself. Here's how I'm going to do it. And I've got several different steps of what I think I can do to control it. I'm as the parent now, I'm not going to let my child get to that point where I know they will explode, right? So if it's usually 5 minutes, I'm going to stop them in about 3 minutes. And I'm going to just say, hey, you working your plan today? How you doing? Go do your reflection. And maybe you have that they can put a sticker there, that they can put some kind of mark. Maybe the stickers and marks are work. If you're doing a token economy, maybe they can be adding up to some special event, a movie or something that your child wants. But you're going to stop them before they have time to not work their plan because we want to build success, right? So I stop my child, me, at about 3 minutes and I say, do your reflection. You're working your plan? How you doing? And then put that down. And then next time, maybe wait another minute, right? And then next time, maybe wait a little longer. You'll know that your child is being successful when they can go past that 5 minute mark that you had noticed was their boundary. Before that, they're okay. After that, they're not. If we can get them past that boundary where they used to wig out, congratulations. You and them are doing the hard work of becoming, having the ability to control oneself, which is huge, right? All right, so that's plan, do, review. Now, the next one we're going to look at is planning backwards, okay? And planning backwards is a really good way for kids who are really concrete to be able to make their plans. All right. So we plan backward to move forward. We begin with the end in mind. Reflection can be built in. And of course, this document is in your text set. But this is what it looks like. So I'm going to use me to show you. So it's pretty simple, right? Nothing earth shattering here, moms and dads and caregivers. So this is for when teachers assign a multi-day project. Okay, so here's a classic in middle school. It's Monday, and I'm a social studies teacher in 7th grade. So this is the assignment I give to my class. Class, you're going to read this speech by Abraham Lincoln. You're going to read this speech by Frederick Douglass. You're going to compare and contrast the two. How were Douglass and Lincoln alike, and where did they differ? And that, I want an essay on that. The essay is due Friday. All right, so Monday I'm giving the assignment, 2 speeches to read, compare and contrast. How are they the same? How are they different? It's due Friday. So if you ask your kids, okay, you have this assignment, what are you going to do tonight? Nothing, right? Because when are they going to do all the work? They're going to wait because they think they can get it all done on Thursday. So here's how we plan. The essay is due Friday. So that gets written in that column, essay due Friday. What do you do This is what you're asking your kids now. You're coaching them backwards. What do you do right before you hand in a final project, a final draft, a final essay? Well, you edit your rough draft. Okay, so that means on Thursday, I need to be editing my rough draft to my final draft. Okay, that's what we're doing Thursday. What do you do right before you edit your rough draft? What do you think? I got to write it. All right. So Wednesday, I'm writing my first draft. What do you do right before you write a first draft? Well, you do some kind of a pre-writing tool, right? You organize your writing, whether it's the Venn diagram, how they're different, how they're the same, whatever writing tool your kids like to use, right? So I'm going to say Venn diagram. Okay, so Wednesday I'm writing the rough draft. So that means on Tuesday, I'm creating my visual, my Venn diagram of how they are different and how they're alike. Okay, right before you make your writing tool, what do you do before that? Well, you have to read the two speeches. So that means on Monday, I'm reading the two speeches. You will be amazed. I know you're going to have to prove this to yourself. I've worked with so many kids. They're the ones who taught me this. If you give them the assignment on Monday and then you have them try to plan going forward, going this way, a lot of them will not be successful. But if you do what I just did, okay, the essay's handed in. What do you do right before final draft? And you go bum, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Your children will be able to articulate in much more coherent fashion what is needed to be done there. So how do we turn this into a tool of reflection? Well, here's our plan, right? That's what we just did on the previous page. But now we record self-awareness, reflection. What did I do Monday? Did I read? What did I do Tuesday? Did I fill out my preparation for writing, or was I reading on Tuesday, right? So your children just capture what they did each day, right? What they did Monday, what they did Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then when they get their grade, they can see and feel and hear sometimes that it's the effort they put in that gets a grade, not whether the teacher likes them or not, right? Especially when we're under stress. We will oftentimes point to everything exterior about why my performance is lacking. The teacher's not fair, the teacher doesn't like me, the teacher treats this person better, this is the teacher's pet. You've heard all those excuses. This removes the external, and it's about what I'm doing or not. And then finally, we look at a step sheet. And what the step sheet is, it's to help kids and adults sometimes, because executive dysfunction or ADHD is a thing, right? That's if your kids are on that continuum of ADHD or executive dysfunction, all this will really, really help them. So some kids have trouble with just thinking in lengths of time, right? That 5 minutes could be 5 hours. 5 hours could be 5 seconds, right? They just don't have a concept of time. I know if you have a well-developed concept of time, it's hard to imagine that, but there are kids who just don't have that sense. And when you don't have that sense, it makes planning and completing plans, ending tasks that much more difficult. So again, this is another document that's in your text set. And it's very simple. You see, it looks like this, 3 columns. One is to check off the steps when you're complete. Why? If you look at the Brains for Living session, that's all about dopamine. And then the middle column is what you need to do. And then the final column is how much time is that step going to take, right? So let's say it's homework time, because if your kids are like my kids, there's 2 ways to approach homework. Either, oh, it's homework so easy, it's not going to take any time, right? That misgiving. And then what are they doing on the bus the next day? They're stressed because they're rushing to get their homework done. And of course, it's not being done in a proper way. Or they overwhelm themselves and it's like, oh my God, I have so much homework to do. I'm never going to get it done. And with that mindset, they can't even get started. So we just put down the steps, maybe an after school routine. What do you want them to do? Change out of their school clothes, have a snack, go go run around or, do something to get your energy out. Okay. All those steps get listed here, step by step. And then, if they have different homework in different content areas, maybe then you put whatever they want to do first, whether it's math, social studies, and that goes in there. Do my math homework. How much time are you telling them they have to do it? All right, so this is if you're assigning the times. Once your kids get used to doing this, then what you can do is, this is what a step sheet looks like completed. This is one I use when I go into schools to do a demo lesson. So if you see, here's all the tasks, step by step by step. Here's the time that they have to do it. And then there's the check marks to check off when they're done. Again, getting that good feeling of dopamine. But to even get more dopamine, what you can have your kids do is when they put their steps in, how they can put down how much time they think it's going to take to do that task. And then they can time themselves and put the actual time it took to complete that task. Then they're getting their hands dirty with time. They're really saying, here's my prediction, which is dopamine. Here's my prediction. And here's how much time it actually took. So they just get a much more fundamental understanding of what time is and how much time it takes. A really young parents out there, a great use of this step sheet is for bedtime routines, right? If you have kids who love to stall going to bed, one more book, one more hug, oh, check under my bed, whatever, they can make up 1,000 excuses to prevent them from going to sleep. So here's their bedtime routine. You just put the steps in, right? Getting your pajamas, how much time that should take. Brush your teeth, how much time should that take? Read a book, how much time are we allotting that? Give everyone kisses, say prayers, say goodnight to everybody. If that's one of your family things, that as you're laying there putting to sleep, we say goodnight, grandma, right? Whatever are the things that you do for a bedtime routine, they get put down in a step, and then how much time it should take. This is also a really good morning routine. If that gives you a lot of stress in your life, that no one's getting ready, the bus is coming, you have to get out the door, right? Life, you can feel the pace is picking back up. How do we organize our families, organize our lives so that background static stress of us yelling at kids to get ready, no, you can't have this, yes, get to bed, just we get them in the habit of following the routine. Okay. So planning for organization, we talked all about executive function, how it's a bigger indicator, the better your executive function is. Research shows the more successful you will be. That truly self-control, executive function, starting a task, being able to plan, finish a task. That's where our decision making is a bigger indicator of success than even IQ, than even the amount of money in the family that this kid is growing up in. Executive function, biggest indicator of success. And we can help our children develop it by having them set goals, academic, personal, financial. By doing the step sheet, we can start if your kids are still young. Congratulations, you're starting off right. And you can do it as a bedtime or a morning routine. As your kids get older, you'll see it'll be mowing the lawn on Saturday, it'll be getting ready for soccer practice, all that. The think, do, and review that you can do for behavior as well as cognitive activities, and there's self-reflection built right in. And then the planning backwards, a very concrete way that your kids can plan and plan and plan. So next steps. Here's what next steps look like. I would suggest you've got the text set, right? How are you going to raise your awareness of your own executive function, right? Where is it strong? Where might you be able to develop that a little more or lack thereof? How about in the others around you, those that you love, those that you work with? Which ways to support the development of executive function do you think will work best with your loved ones? Or are you already doing goal setting and tracking your own progress towards those goals, right? We talked about a moi journal in the Brains for Living, that moi journal where we're practicing our gratitude, that can become a journal for my goals and how I'm getting to them, and how I'm to the reflection in that. So it becomes this complete journal for raising serotonin through gratitude and through developing executive function through planning, step sheeting. Parents of young ones, are you thinking of using the step sheet as a bedtime routine? Is that like number one you're going to? Or as a morning routine as we get back to school and to work? Lots of different choices here. One I'm hoping will be just right for you. So congratulations, Capitol Police families. You're on your second mile, right? The first mile, that was a tough one. That was a tough one, almost broke us. But now you're beginning to notice the excellence that you provide for those that you love. And when we do that, there's almost minor miracles occurring around us. Some days that's what it feels like. Nice work, moms and dads. Nice work.